You're listening to the Performance Group Podcast, a place to listen, learn, and get to know the unseen heroes of our local community. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Sean Kirby, and on the Performance Group Podcast, we make it our mission to learn from those around us and shed light on our local community. If you're new to the show, we have spoken to business leaders, community organizers, friends, and family. And before we jump in today, I hope to ask you for a favor. If you could please just take 1 second to hit subscribe and share our posts. It would mean a whole lot to me, our team here at the Performance Group, and our amazing guests on today's show. Hello, and welcome back to the Performance Group Podcast. My name is Sean Kirby, and on today's episode of the Performance Group Podcast, I'm joined by the one, the only, Mr. Rashad Barksdale.
Appreciate you.
Rashad is the owner-operator of Mind Over Matter Management. He is a former NFL cornerback, and he is my best friend, and I made him get a bunch of tattoos.
You did.
All because of a fake tattoo.
A fake tattoo. I think I have about 7.
Look at what I did to you.
Yeah.
I turned you into a degenerate.
Thinking about getting one more, too.
How much money do you have in those tattoos because of me?
A lot.
Sorry about that. Sorry, Blair.
It's about 500 a piece, so.
Shoo-wee.
Yeah.
They are there forever, so you don't want to get like the $25 tattoo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get what you pay for most of the
They're
time?
all meaningful tattoos, though. So if I'm going to put something on my body, it has to mean something.
Absolutely.
Family members, just whatever.
Yeah. My name?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We haven't gotten to that. Maybe after the podcast, I can talk you into getting our logo on you. Get the M's. Mind Over Matter. Right on your chest, like you're always wearing a T-shirt.
I'm not going to do that.
Have you, you don't have it, do you have a back tattoo?
No.
Are you planning on getting a back tattoo?
No. So no back tattoo because what's the point of putting something on your body if you can't see it?
Okay, I agree with that. So my favorite / least favorite back tattoo anyone can ever get is the jersey tattoo, where they get their own name across their shoulder blades.
So I know someone who has that.
And I always think it's so interesting because it's a perpetual jersey.
Yeah. I know someone who has that.
Do you think it's a cool tattoo?
I don't know. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't put anything on my back that I can't see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like you walking around with a sign that says "kick me."
Yeah.
You don't know it.
The Steve-O back tattoo with the double thumbs up.
Yeah. So no back tattoos. Everything I have to see.
Yeah, I get that. You do it for yourself.
Yep.
You don't do it to name yourself on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my one tattoo that I'm always like, you made that decision kind of early.
Yeah. I almost made some early decisions about a tattoo. I'm glad I didn't do that.
Last thing you need to do is live with regret.
Yep.
All right, Rashad. So Rashad is a local business owner. He is a father to 3.
3.
His wife is a local coach for the volleyball team, Blair. And pretty much Rashad is a mystery man to me. I know what he does sometimes, but it changes often. And then he's always very busy, not only with kids, but with business, with things outside of business, CrossFit. And I'm really excited for this conversation so I can learn more about you.
Yeah.
So before we start, I'd like to kind of take it back because obviously you're not from the area.
Correct.
You're from New York, right?
Yep, upstate New York, Hudson. New
Hudson.
York. Yep.
So grew up there, born there, raised there?
Yep, born and raised Hudson, New York. Born in Catskill, which is roughly like comparison to LaPel or Anderson and Pendleton. Mm-hmm. So pretty close. Moved right over to Hudson right after that, only because I think I don't know if there was a hospital in Hudson or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, born and raised in that area.
So all the way through high school?
All the way through high school. Graduated from high school 2002.
Yeah.
Went on to go to Hudson Valley Community College, which is roughly 30, 40 minutes from me in Troy, New York. Went there for 2.5 years, then transferred to University at Albany, which is also it's right around the corner from my house. Far enough, but close enough. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Your mom was happy you stayed close?
Yeah. I think I think it was a good decision. I was either going to I almost went to Newberry College, which was in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, that would have been nice.
To play baseball, but the out-of-state tuition was just too much. So
absolutely.
It worked out.
So you actually went to school to play baseball?
Yep, baseball. Baseball was played baseball and football and basketball in high school.
Yeah.
But I went to school for baseball. That was my sport. I loved baseball.
You still love baseball?
Not so much. I haven't played it in a while. I don't really watch it.
Yeah.
Outside looking in now, that I see how it's kind of boring.
It is kind of boring to watch.
Yeah, it's totally different, obviously, when you're playing. But yeah, I don't follow baseball too much.
So grew up playing baseball, basketball. Always good at sports, or is that something that came, as you matured?
No, I think I was always good in sports. Not to toot my own horn. It's just it was a natural thing. I even played soccer for 1 year. I think 7th grade because we didn't have football, and all they did was kick the ball, and I would outrun everyone and score type of thing. Couldn't really dribble too much, but
yeah, kick it straight and run fast.
Yeah, but sports, it's always active, and like I said, it just kind of came natural.
Yeah. So, what are some of the biggest lessons you felt like you learned from high school sports, especially since obviously you played then at the next level?
That's a really good question. So, I went to a small school where I was always, one of the two of the best players on the field. Never really came off the football field. Always played, I was on varsity since 10th grade for baseball, basketball. I played only 2 years, really only one because I had knee surgery, but I was still on the team. But, man, I would think the biggest lesson throughout high school that I learned, I had some great coaches who really pushed me. That's a really good question because I never really thought about that. Man.
What are some of the things that you now, as a coach, hear yourself say that you were told when you were growing up? Because I feel like that happens to me all the time.
Yeah. One of the biggest things is the push through. Push through it. It's hard. It sucks, but push through. I hated running. We would, after every game, the following week on Monday, we would run 50 yards. Like, you have to sprint and then jog back, but for X amount of minutes, like 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
That was rough. It was really rough. Defensively, no matter how many points we gave up, we would have to do up-downs. Potentially now you really call them like burpees.
Yeah.
So that was our incentive to not get scored on type thing. But, yeah, just push through, run through the line type thing. One thing that it was my professional day that was said a lot, that I say a lot to the kids now, is you always want to run to, one drill to another, or, you're taught to never walk on the football field. One of my DB coaches would say, they'll walk if you let them type thing. So what that meant was, you see players walking, they're going to keep walking if you don't say anything.
Yeah.
So I always tell kids, hey, walk off the field. Run off the field, even as a jog. Like, pretend you're doing something. Give me a little bit of something. Don't walk off the field type thing, and don't stop until you get off the field, because the kids will run and then they'll stop right there. So, yeah, those are kind of things that I really preach.
Yeah, it's those translate well to life. Don't stop before you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Push through the line.
Yeah, absolutely. You think about it. Growing up, I'm such a stubborn person. Like, even to this day, I think, kind of go back to your question you asked about high school. I never start anything that I won't finish. Like, I'm always gonna finish. It can even go back from, I'm walking and I'm just throwing rocks and I'm trying to hit something. I will literally stay there until I hit it. Like, that's just how I'm wired. Or I'm so wired to, like, compete even at anything, where I still do this to this day. If I go to a gym and it has a sauna in it and I walk in, let's say you're in the sauna already, I won't get out until you get out. You were already in there before me. I can't get out before you because that's just
you're battling.
Yeah, so I was literally sitting there like, man, this dude's got hurry up. And then once you stand up and walk, I'm right behind you.
Yep, I'll follow you, sir, out the door.
So yeah,
but I will be behind you, and you will go first.
Yep, exactly. So
I think competition is one of those things that, especially in adult life, you lose. Mm-hmm. Is that why you think you fell into CrossFit and you like it so much? Is you still feel like you're kind of competing?
Yeah, one of the big things I told myself after playing football, well, while I was playing football, was once I'm done playing football, I'm gonna eat, drink, whenever I want, whatever I want and whenever I want. I did that and I blew up. I think that I almost got to like 250.
Shoo-wee.
Yeah.
You got pics on your IG of that, man?
And my
before and after body.
My playing weight was about 200 pounds. I was a bigger defensive back than your normal guys back in the day. And we would have to get weighed in every Friday. Kind of like, I'm sure, wrestling or whatnot. Yep. I had to cut weight just to make weight. Thursday, after practice, I didn't drink, eat anything. And if I was hungry, I was just eating little ketchup packets or just to make weight. Because, I'm still, I'm going to say I'm smart with my money. Not frugal, cheap, whatever. But they would fine you $1,000 per pound.
Nope.
That you were overweight.
Ouch.
So there was no way I'm not giving you $1,000 because I weighed 205. Well, $5,000. So, I didn't eat, drink, anything until Friday after weigh-in. I would always weigh in right at 199 or 200.
Right on the line.
Right on the line. So after playing football, I was like, I'm going to eat whatever I want. Did it, felt bad, or had to unbuckle my pants type of thing at the table.
Had to buy new pants and you got to 250.
Some sweatpants, and I did CrossFit. I did CrossFit a little bit while I was playing football, and I would always buy the Groupon, $99 a month.
Yeah, you ain't paying full price for nothing.
Yeah, so once it finished, I was done. I was like, I'm not going. It's expensive. And eventually I was like, I ran into Jay, because Sarah, his wife, was coaching with Blair at the time. She's like, you should come to the gym, check it out. I was like, I've done it before. You CrossFitters are crazy. You guys do too much. And
literally
just went there and really started, falling in love with the process, seeing the results, and, being committed to it. So, to this day, I still do CrossFit. I wouldn't say the intensity is the same as, you have the beginners. You could tell the people who just started CrossFit, and then the ones who've been doing it for a while, the ones who just started are they're ready. They're so excited. And then the ones who done it for years, they know what to expect. It doesn't get any easier.
No, that's the worst part. I dropped in probably 2 months ago, and I didn't come back.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do these at home alone at my pace.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time about CrossFit, it's probably one of the hardest sports ever. To me, even outside of professional football, because it's so mentally tough. You got to have a good mindset to anything you're doing, work-related, life, sports. But with CrossFit, it's tough. It's not always physically tough. It's more the mental thing to me. So, it's one of those sports. I think even the better you get, the harder it gets. Because your pace goes a lot faster.
Yep, you're pushing yourself. Weight goes up.
Yep.
It never stops.
Doesn't.
No, it never stops. So we briefly touched on it, and I don't think we got to this part yet in the conversation. So obviously you did play professional football.
Yep.
But how did you – you went to school to play baseball. Mm-hmm. How'd you end up in the league?
Yeah, it was just kind of one of the things that happened, man.
No, that's not one of those things that happen. I want you to know that's not just somebody doesn't go, I was playing baseball, and then they asked me to try out. So and, I played professional football. That's not something that just happens.
So I was supposed to get drafted. So football was my better sport in high school.
Okay.
Much better football player. Baseball, I had more fun. I just followed my heart. Wasn't by any means a bad baseball player. I was a pretty good baseball player. Was supposed to get drafted out of high school. Almost got drafted. They said I need a little bit more development. So went to junior college because my grades weren't the best. Went to junior college, kind of had the same thing. Hey, you need a little bit more development. Went to Albany. And my senior year, I was getting scouted pretty good by the Reds. Started off the season slow, kind of, did all right, middle of the season, and kind of had a little bad, I guess you would say, like, I don't know, a few weeks.
Yeah,
where I was kind
bad
of
stretch.
Yeah, really bad stretch. Lost my starting spot for a freshman, and I won it back. We ended up going to our championships, and I think we lost. We lost to Vermont, but nothing happened baseball wise, and I started to go I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's not the minor league. It's like I can't even recall what it is. It's different. Independent ball.
Yeah.
Independent ball. And they're we all like you, but we don't have room for you. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So eventually I was just like, I'm done. Like, this is mentally draining. I don't want to do it anymore. I had a lot of friends on the football team as well. Actually, my baseball teammate was on the football team.
Oh, he played both?
He played both. And Dave West, I always tell him I'm going to give him a shout-out because I owe him so much because he's the reason why I played football. Him and I, he's the freshman who stole my spot.
No way.
Yeah. Him and I would go back and forth, like, who's the better athlete? And I told him, I was like, listen, I can play football if I wanted to. I just choose not to because I don't like being cold. That's really the reason why I didn't go to school. I didn't play football in school because I hated practicing in the cold.
Yeah, New York is
and
a different kind of cold, though.
And then, jokes on me, I'm playing baseball in upstate New York.
Yeah.
So, but he was like, man, you can't play football. I was like, all right, like, I guarantee you I can. Went home one day, brought back the VHS tape back to school, popped it in, showed him. He's like, all right, you may can do something. And I was like, maybe I'll try out for the team. He's like, you won't try out for the team. I was like, all right, we'll see. And I remember this whole story like it was yesterday because I was working on campus doing like maintenance. And at the time, the football team was practicing. I would drive by football practice maybe twice a day, just kind of looking like, starting to think, because at this point, I stopped playing baseball. So right now, you got to think about it from 8th grade, from 8 years old up until 20 years old, I've always played sports.
Yeah.
So right now I'm not, sports are done with me. Like, I'm done. Now I'm just working maintenance. So I drive by, and then one day I'm like, all right, I called the head coach, who recruited me out of high school for football. Like I said, I didn't want to play. And I call him, and I hang up, like, as if, you're calling a girl, and you get nervous. Yeah. So I'm like, all right. I did it twice. And then the third time, I eventually left him a voicemail. He called me back, and he said, come out, because at this time they were just doing, like, their summer workouts.
Yeah.
Went out, and I told him I wanted to play running back. Running back was my spot. That was what I was really good at. He said, we have 2 seniors there. We'll put you at defensive back. I was like, okay, I played safety in high school, so I get the game. And ever since, right then and there, I was 5th on the depth chart, and I gradually worked my way up to the starting position. Started first game of the year all the way up until the last game of the year. And like I said, it was just one of those things that really happened. It was, I have Dave West, my friend, to thank for challenging me. It was really a bet.
Yeah.
That's really the reason why I went out for football. And then I had 2 other teammates, Jacob Hobbs and Andre Coleman, who were offensive linemen and defensive linemen who were getting looked at. They were getting looked at. So if it wasn't for them, I'm not sure if I would have, even been a thing, because that happens a lot, and I don't think the kids realize that, is you can have a teammate who's getting scouted, but if you, for some reason, you show up on film or at the game, a scout's they're gonna want to know, hey, who is that kid?
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened. We were playing Delaware. Delaware had Joe Flacco at the time, and I picked him off twice. And then after that game, NFL scouts started to come in, and they wanted to meet with me. I met with every single team in the NFL, which was crazy. Like I said, my intention was just to be a student athlete.
Yeah.
No intentions to play professional football. And ended up getting drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in the 6th round after just playing 1 year of football. And it was just kind of like, I'm a laid back, humble person. It's still kind of surreal because, like I said, my intentions weren't for any of that to happen. I just didn't. I knew if I was going to be a regular student, I was going to get myself in trouble. Baseball, even as a student athlete, we went out a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, we partied. I would think baseball players are probably one of the biggest partiers. I've played games hungover. I've played one of the best games of my life hungover.
Yeah.
But
little hair of the dog the next day.
I just don't think it would have worked. I don't think it would have worked out if I was just a student.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have gone to class.
You need the structure. You were used to it. You've done it for, 15 years.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's, like I said, it was just like a diamond in the rough. It just happened.
Crazy. Crazy. What'd your mom say when you got drafted?
So we had a little draft party at my house.
Uh-huh.
And there was a lot of, my mom, my brother.
So everybody was kind of expecting it?
Yeah.
At that point, you'd had enough conversations. Somebody said, we're going to pick you up.
Just wasn't sure when. And, mom, brother, cousins, aunts, uncles, girlfriend at the time, Blair, we were all at my mom's house.
Blair was there?
Yep, we were there.
So you met it in school?
Yep, we met at school, yep.
She played volleyball there?
Yep, she played volleyball, yep.
Cool. That's a fun story because I've seen those pictures with the girl holding on to the guy on draft day, and you're like, you know why she's there.
Yeah. So, we had a draft party, and everyone was excited. Everyone, and to me, it was just kind of like, it just, like I said, I didn't show too much emotion. I mean, it was, now that I look back at it, I realized that I'm one of very few. So I tend to, at the time, as kids when we're younger, when great things happen to us, we don't really dig deep into like realizing what we accomplished. So we may know what we accomplished, but the importance of it. You know what I mean? Like being drafted. Okay, yeah, you got so many kids who get drafted. They don't realize how big that pool is. And that you're one of few who got drafted. Like, no one can ever take that from you type of thing. So, now that I'm older, I'm starting to realize, like, all right, yeah, like, that's a huge accomplishment. Regardless if I only played 3-4 years, it's still a huge accomplishment.
It's more than the majority of people play.
Yeah. Yep.
That's way more than the majority of people play. So, what was the biggest jump from college ball to professional ball that really sticks out to you?
The speed of the game. And there's not really, you either know or you don't as far as, like, the plays. There's no, all right, let's stop, let's walk through that. It's boom, boom, boom. And, like, you got to be on your P's and Q's, like, really good, or the next man is going to take your spot.
Everybody's looking for a job.
Thing. Yeah, it's and I didn't really, I want to say, earlier in my career, I understood the importance of, I knew where I was because I only played 1 year, so I already knew I was behind the 8 ball. Had the athleticism, but had to understand the game. So there was, and I would tell kids now, when you go in there, you are competing for a job. It's a job interview the whole season because at any point, they can let you go. Even if you make the roster, they can let you go. So, yes, it's important to build chemistry with other people, friendships, but at the end of the day, don't think twice that that person in the same room with you, sitting right next to you, if he had the opportunity, he would take your job. Like, so you gotta. It's always business. It's business. So, I kept to myself. I had a few friends here and there, but I was never like part of that clique because I knew I had to go to work.
Yeah.
So
It's scary.
it is.
That's stressful.
It's very stressful. People don't realize how stressful. I don't know how baseball or basketball could be, but football, you got, there's so many football players, so many. And at any point, you could be packing your bags and going home. And I've experienced that where, hey, we're going to let you go. And, and then the next day I got brought back, which is, it's for, I don't know, like making room for, like they will cut a defensive back to bring in an O-lineman. They won't cut an O-lineman to bring an O-lineman. It just depends on how it goes. So, yeah, if you're not that guy, every day is, you never know what's going on.
Scrapping.
Yep. And even those top guys, they get traded. They're getting traded. I mean, obviously they have some idea, but you could be sitting in practice. Well, I don't even say that. Some guys, if you heard in sports, they get traded. They don't even know. They're on a plane somewhere.
You got a fan yelling at it.
Yeah, it's
on the sideline. You go, what?
Yeah, it's professional sports, man. It is. I would say it's a grimy world.
Yeah,
it's grimy for sure. It's rewarding too, but on the flip side, it's stressful.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah,
I couldn't even imagine. So you were in the league 3-4 years. You get out, and then what? What do you do?
Yeah,
sports have been your life your whole life.
That's the tough part. I eventually, for about 4 years, I played arena football.
Fun. Was that fun?
Yeah, so
it looks more fun.
Yeah, I actually had more fun playing arena football than NFL because, one, in the NFL, I just did primarily special teams. I was never, out playing defense. Arena football, I was able to always play. I became better. I learned. I got better at certain aspects of the game. Excuse me. And the fans, I mean, just they're right there on you. It's a high-scoring game. You're playing in front of 10, 11,000 people inside an arena. It was fun. So, yeah, trying to make that adjustment afterwards was the tough part. And that's where a lot of people struggle. And I see it. I mean, let's say I stopped playing football in 2010, NFL 2010. I'm not going to count arena because arena season's from February to August.
Oh.
And then you can, just come back to go to work if your job allows you to. But I'm 38, and we're in 2022. To be completely honest with you, I would say maybe 4 years ago when I really all right, it's the adjustment was made. Not saying that I was still holding on to it, but just like you say, your whole life you've done something that's been your identity, and now it's taken from you, and now you gotta work, real work, sports. I don't want to say it's not work, but it's you're playing a sport. It's not you're coming in working 9 to 5 doing this. You still have to perform, obviously, but yeah, now you got to work, and it's kind of I did I worked for State Farm a little bit. I've done so many different things.
That's why I said you're a mystery man.
Because I'm trying to find out what I want to do. That's the tough part is I want a career. I don't want just a job, and I don't want to get stuck in doing something that's going to affect me mentally or even affect my household type of thing, a job, sort of say. So, yeah, I mean, if I had to go back and do it all over again, one, I probably would have bought some land for sure. Invested in something where when I get done playing, I can utilize that. So, yeah, I mean, I did State Farm. I don't even know what else. I've done like ADT. I've done schoolwork. I've done training as far as like defensive back training, speed and agility. Done a lot of different things.
Yeah.
A lot of different things and the reason why I've done a lot of different things is because I'm trying to find that right career.
Yeah. And at 38, I mean, you still have a long time to figure it out.
Yeah.
So you fell in love with CrossFit probably about 4 years ago anyways, too.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years ago, yeah.
When did you guys move here?
We've been in Pendleton for, I want to say, our oldest just turned 11. So I would say about 6 years maybe.
And then when were you done playing arena football? About the same time?
2014.
So that's 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, around 8 years.
How'd you land here? This is not
Pendleton?
Hudson, New York, yeah.
So it's Hudson and Pendleton are almost similar. It's a very small town where I'm from. Very small town. I don't know how we landed here. We lived in Noblesville, and we knew we were going to expand our family. We wanted more house. So somehow, some way,
More house, less payment?
Yeah, Blair found Pendleton. We lived over in Summer Lake for a little bit, and just kind of, when we had our 3 kids, it's house on house on house on house. And like I said, I'm laid back. I like quiet and
chickens.
Yeah, chickens. And there's people banging on your door nonstop.
Yeah.
And so we wanted more space, be more and for it to be quiet. So we just moved in our new house. Still in Pendleton. I still don't. Maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. So yeah.
Yeah, you guys bought that at the right time. Locked in a good interest rate.
Yeah. Yep.
Now look at the world.
Yeah.
So you recently started Mind Over Matter Management, right?
Correct.
So how did you kind of land into that? And talk to me exactly what it is, why it is, and what's the goal?
Yeah. So Mind Over Matter Management, it is a management business that works with CrossFit athletes who, CrossFit athletes where we're trying to assist them, either with build their brand, help them get sponsors, trying to help them, get products, whatever it may be, where, because if you're not familiar with CrossFit, it's an expensive sport. All these competitions, travel, hotel, all that stuff. So we're trying to make less of a burden of that, so where they can focus on just competing, where we get sponsors to, whether cover their whole hotel fee or some of it. Same thing with travel. And the way I started Mind Over Matter Management, it's kind of a funny story. So back home, I had my own nonprofit organization, which I just recently closed probably about 3 months ago due to COVID. I haven't done anything since then. So I've been doing it for about 12 years. And with that, I fell in love with, because I would always host a celebrity basketball charity event.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with hosting events. And what I found out with hosting events, it was a lot of networking, reaching out to sponsors. Hey, this is what we're doing. Can you sponsor to help, fuel this event type of thing? And I was pretty good at it. And and with a degree in sociology, just dealing with people, just talking, networking. It's just one of those things, like sports, just came natural. So I already had that background experience. The Mind Over Matter Management came across was last year during the CrossFit Open. I was sick, okay? And being a competitor and athlete, I still did the Open because I'm hard-headed type thing. And there was an event, one of the workouts was deadlifts and burpees.
Miserable combination.
Yeah, it was
a miserable combination.
It went 1 deadlift, 1 burpee, all the way up to 10, and then back down.
For time?
Yeah. Time. Well, it was time. Yeah, time cap. But
what was the weight?
I don't remember, 185 maybe?
185?
Just enough.
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
10 deadlifts right back into burpees.
Yeah, so I kid you not, in the middle of that workout, is the phrase, I'm sure you might have said it plenty of times. I feel like every CrossFitter has said it, is this is stupid. Why am I doing it?
Uh-huh.
Like, this is dumb.
The majority of the time.
So I'm saying that in the middle of burping, I'm like, this is dumb. I'm done doing CrossFit. This is stupid. This is stupid. Like, I'm just done. But being that, as I said earlier, like, I never stop. I always got to finish something. So I finished it. Not the work. I didn't complete the workout, but after the workout, I was like, man, I don't want to do CrossFit anymore. I'm not where I want to be. You know, I had plans of being here, but coming from being a professional football player and then going to CrossFit, realizing it's a big difference. And I thought I could be one of the top CrossFitters because I played professional ball. It's different.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I've been doing it for 4 years. You know, I'm still not where I want to be, but I want to stay involved in the sport somehow, some way. And man, I kid you, like, so me personally, I don't care to say it on air. I feel like the best ideas come when you're sitting on the toilet.
Yep.
You're sitting on the toilet. So I was like, man, what do I have to do to stay involved in the sport? You know, I can't compete as much as I want to, but I want to help. I want to help people out. So I came across a manager's page, and I was like, that kind of looks cool. Like, it's something I want to do. Like, it's networking. You get to meet a lot of people, stay involved. I reached out to him, asked if they had, like, an internship. He's like, no, we don't have an internship. Cooper Marsh is his name. And he's like, but I can mentor you. I can kind of teach you what to do. I was like, all right, awesome. I was like, I'll get back to you because I still wanted to think about it. And then I was like, maybe it's something I'll do in a year or so. And like a couple of weeks went by. I was like, all right, I'm gonna jump into it, and just learn. And I just went with it. And I believe it was May. You helped me set it up as far as everything. So hasn't even been a full year. We have 8 athletes that represent, and hopefully trying to get a little bit more to bring onto the team. So it's good so far.
How are you building most of those relationships with athletes first, and then we'll go into everybody else?
Yeah, so the athletes, CrossFit is as big as the sport is. It's really a small community too. You know a lot. You know a lot of the same people. The first athlete that I was working with was Haley Hunter. Yep. She goes to the same gym here in CrossFit Pendleton. She's a beast. I see what she's capable of doing. She's right there. She's right on the cusp of, like, she's made semis, I believe it was 2 years in a row, and she's done it teams back in the day when they were doing the, I forgot what they were called, regionals or whatever. So, I was like, hey, let me help you. Like, let me just help you, try to build your brand type thing, help put money in your pocket, whether it may be by just product or just help you not have to spend X amount of money. She was like, all right, let's do it type thing. And then I reached out to some other people just through social media that I've been following for a little bit, and told them what I was looking to do, how I feel like I can help them, and kind of just started snowball effect. Certain people saw that I was working with, that certain people saw that they were working with us, and then they would reach out and, hey, I like what you guys are doing. Can I come on board? I mean, we didn't say yes to everyone, but that's kind of how it's been going. There's some athletes there's only one athlete that I'm working with now that I haven't met in person. Well, I'm going to meet him this week. We're going out to Vegas. There's a competition, and I'm going out there to support, meet him. Talked to him numerous times, obviously, but haven't met him in person yet. So looking forward to getting out there and, just hanging out and watching him compete.
Watch them compete, introducing them to people.
Yeah.
So then when it comes to brands and supplements and partners and all the other things that come with it, are you cold DMing people and saying, hey, this is these are my athletes, this is what I'm doing, or, you know, kind of.
Yeah. When I started off, just reaching out, just they said cold DMs. Right now, like I say, although I've only been doing it since May, I've built a pretty good relationship with some people. I know people who put us in. There are several managers that I know. We kind of work together. Hey, I got a contact. I think it would be great for you and your athletes. I'm gonna do an email introduction, vice versa.
Nice.
When they do that for me as well. So it's getting better and better. And going to events. I went to 2 semis this year. I've been to the games, and actually going to the events and going to the vendors and meeting them is working out.
Yeah.
So
you're going out there and shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yep, kissing hands, shaking babies, all that stuff.
You might get in trouble for shaking babies.
Yeah, shaking babies. Kissing babies.
There you
shaking
go.
Hands.
Yep. Don't shake the babies.
Yeah.
Don't shake the babies. Well, fun. So what's been probably the most eye-opening thing? Because obviously, coming from as a professional athlete who, you had a management team. What's it like being on the management side that maybe you didn't realize when you were in it? The hardest part.
I think the hardest part is I'm a big communicator. My pet peeve is people who don't communicate, type thing. And I want to say all athletes are pretty good. Some of them are young. We have some teenagers, teens that on our team. Just trying to get everybody on the same page, I would say, is the biggest thing. It's like the most difficult thing, type of thing. Reaching out to, companies that's nothing. Like, I've worked sales jobs where I've cold called, and that's not a big deal at all. So, I guess just getting all the eggs in order, and just that's kind of like the hardest thing.
Just try to make sure everybody's on the same page, pulling on the same end of the rope.
Yep, that's it.
So, as you're looking at 2023, so today is November 9th.
Yep.
Goals for 2023. What's your big, what's that thing? What's your mountaintop next year?
For the business?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for next year, I would say, I want to sign, I would say right now we work with, our athletes are right there, which is what I love. I didn't want to just go search and work with the top CrossFit athletes, right? Because they were already developed. I started the business, and the slogan I use is, build a table big enough so that everybody can eat.
Yep.
It's not. I'm not doing this just for me. I'm barely even making any money at the moment, and which is fine. That's the money. When the money comes, it comes, by all means. But I work with athletes now, like I said, who are right there. Just need a little bit more, which is, I see what I see in them is what I see in myself. Like, type of person, like, just need a little bit more guidance. They have the ability, and it's kind of like working with, I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but I created a scholarship foundation, right? I'm not sure if you applied for any scholarships or anything in high school. You had to have, there were certain criteria. You had to have an A or grade point average of this. My criteria for my scholarship was really just C, like the most, because that's who I was. So there were scholarships that I couldn't apply for because I didn't have the grade point average.
Yeah.
So those are opportunities that are being missed for other people.
Yeah.
So with the group of people that I'm working with, like I said, there's opportunities that they're not getting because they're not the big name athletes.
Yeah.
And that's who the athletes I want to work with. I want to help build them up, opposed to the athletes who are already there that don't really, they sell themselves.
Yeah.
They sell themselves type thing. So, but, I would, by all means, I would love in 2023, on my side of things, obviously I'm not performing. I want my athletes to make the CrossFit Games. I would love to sign, potential, 1 or 2 athletes who have been developed and who have been to the CrossFit Games already, to build onto the team, and just see growth. see growth. I know in business, and I'm sure you know it. It takes a little bit, especially in this type of business, to start making money. So
Yeah.
I get that. As far as your question about the 2023 goal, really my goal about, I would say, 4 to 5 years, maybe 6. I would like to be doing this as a full-time job, like where I can bring in enough money and support my family.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Do it full time,
Yeah.
pour into people,
Yeah,
pour back into your family.
Even it doesn't even have to be CrossFit, because by then, right now, I've started even looking into like the NIL, like with college athletes.
That's a big thing.
You can do that as well. I started doing some research. Just like I said, I want to find someone who's already doing it, so they can kind of help me understand it.
And I think your openness to, competition is, it's dog eat dog, right? So, but your openness to learn from other people and ask good questions says a lot about you and your humility, I would say.
And that's the best way to learn.
Yeah. A lot of people have too much ego to ask somebody else for help.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I played, after football, I played semi-pro football just because I wanted to see how it was. It was a mess.
Yeah.
You got some dudes out there who shouldn't be playing football. It is a mess. But there's also some really good friends, some dudes out there that I've, become friends with and I still keep in contact with. And they come to me and they're like, man, you played professional football. What are you doing out here? Like, why are you out here? I was like, one, I still love the sport. And two, what good is the knowledge I have if I just keep it? Like, I want to help you. I want to help you learn what I learned so you become a better person, a better football player, or a better person type thing. And like you said, there's people who have so much knowledge, but their ego, they don't want to share it.
Yeah.
What good is it to go to your grave with knowledge where you can help somebody? It's a trickle-down effect. I can help you, right? And then you can help someone, or the information that you give me, I can pass along to somebody as well, and that's going to help them. And then what they know, it's just going to, it's a trickle-down effect. So
it goes back to your big table.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a big enough table everybody can eat.
Everybody can eat. It's not just me.
That's the dream. All right, so last question I'll ask you. What does mind over matter mean to you?
Man, mind over matter means to me, the reason why I picked it is, one, obviously the CrossFit aspect of it. I did a speech. I spoke at my high school graduation a couple years ago, and I talked about our mind, our mindset. Everyone looks at outside, muscles and this and that, which our mind is our biggest tool, our strongest muscle. If you have a weak mind, and it can affect a whole lot of things. If you have a strong mind, and it can affect a lot of things as well. So mind over matter means to me is, when things get hard, that's when your mind dictates, what effort you're going to put in, and also can dictate the outcome. Just by a simple fact of you telling yourself, I can do this, or simply telling yourself you can't do that. You said we are our biggest, naysayers.
Yeah.
What we tell it, self-talk is huge. So, you got to think about it every day. One of my favorite quotes is, good enough is when the weak heart stops. Think about that for a second. Like, growing up, or even now, how many times have you've been doing something and you're like, all right, that's good enough.
Yep.
You can always go a little bit further, type thing, and that becomes your mind. Like, your mind could dictate a lot. I don't think kids realize that. Like, the difference between a LeBron and the next player, yes, he's a very gifted athlete, but it's his mind. Like, it's him making up his mind to put in extra work or do whatever is necessary. That's pretty much it.
Mind over matter.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rashad.
Yep.
Hey guys, Hey guys, thank you again so much for your love and support of the Performance Group podcast. For more information on the podcast, the Performance Group, or even our guests, feel free to reach out directly via our website, performancegroupindiana.com, or feel free to email me directly, which is Sean@performancegroupindiana.com. We'll see you guys next week.